Chapter 16, Exceptions and Templates. The topics that we have is exceptions, function templates, class templates, and inheritance. Introduction to exceptions. Indicate that something unexpected has occurred or been detected. Allow program to deal with the problem in a controlled manner. Can be as simple or complex as program design requires. We have a three type of exception. Exception, throw an exception, catch or handle an exception. In exception, the meaning of this is object or value that signals an error to exceptional circumstance to runtime errors. Number 2, throw an exception. Send a signal that an error has occurred. Catch or handle an exception. Process the exception. Interpret the signal. We have a keywords: throw, try, and catch. In throw, send a signal that an error has occurred. In try, followed by a block. We have a curly braces here is used to invoke code that throws an exception. Catch, followed by a block. We also have a curly braces here is used to detect and process exceptions thrown in preceding try block. Takes a parameter that matches the type thrown. In flow of control, a function that throws an exception is called from within a try block. If the function throws an exception, the function terminates and the try block is immediately exiled. A catch block to process the exception is searched for in the source code immediately following the try block. If a catch block is found that matches the exception thrown, it is executed. If no catch block that matches the exception is found, the program terminates. Example number 1 using throw. This line defines a function named total days that takes two integer parameters, days and weeks. The return type of the function is int, which means it expected to return an integer value. This line starts an if statement that checks if the value of days is less than 0 or greater than 7. If either condition is true, it means the number of days is invalid. In this line, if the condition in the if statement is true, this line throws an exception. This exception being thrown is a literal C string, double quotation invalid number of days. Throwing an exception means that an error has occurred and the normal flow of the program will be interrupted. This line calculates the total number of days by multiplying weeks by 7 and adding days to it. The result is then returned as the output of the total days function. Example number 1b using try catch. Int main. This line declares the main function, which is entry point of the program. This line declares three integer variables. We have dot days, days, and weeks. This line outputs a prompt asking the user to enter the number of days and weeks. This line needs the values entered by the user for the variables days and weeks from the standard input. This keyword starts a block of code where exception can occur, the try block. This line starts a catch block that handles exception. It specifies the catch block will handle exception of type cons char, which are C style strings or error messages. In the code of the try block is called protected code, and the catch block is called exception handler. The difference between try block and catch block: the try block is used to enclose a section of code that may potentially throw an exception, and also is mandatory when using exception handling. In the catch block, a catch block is used to catch and handle exceptions that are thrown from within the corresponding try block, and it is responsible for specifying the type of exception can handle. The exception handling in C++. An exception is an unexpected problem that arises during the execution of a program. Exception handling mechanisms provide a way to transfer control from one part of a program to another. This makes it easy to separate the error handling code from the code written to handle the actual functionality of the program. In C++, exception handling is built upon three keywords. We have try, catch, and throw. The keywords of try, a block of code which may cause an exception, is typically placed inside the try block. It's followed by one or more catch blocks. If an exception occurs, it is thrown from the try block. The keywords of catch, this block catches the exception thrown from the try block. Code to handle exception is written inside the catch block. The keywords of throw, a program throws an exception when a program shows up. This is done using a throw keyword. Every try catch should have a corresponding catch block. A single try block can have multiple catch blocks. The function templates in C++. The function templates are special functions that can operate with generic types. This allows us to create a function template whose functionality can be adapted to more than one type or class without repeating the entire code for each type. The simple idea is to pass data type as a parameter so that we don't need to write same code for different data types. We write a generic function that can be used for different data types. The class templates in C++. Sometimes you need a class implementation that is same for all classes. Only the data types used are different. Normally, you would need to create a different class for each data type, or create different member variables and functions within a single class. In class templates, we write a class that can be used for different data types. In class templates and inheritance, inheritance can be applied to class templates. For example, in the following template, searchable vector is derived from the simple vector class. Let us use this example to take a closer look at the derivation of a class from a template-based class. First, we have to indicate to the compiler that we are defining a new class template based on another already existing class template. Here, the new class template being defined is searchable vector, while the existing base class template is simple vector. The class has three constructors. The first constructor shown here is designed to dynamically allocate an array of size elements of type T, which it does by invoking the base class constructor and passing it the parameter size. This constructor will create an array of the specified size with all elements initialized to default values of type T. The class has another constructor. searchable vector, const simple vector, and simple vector, which takes as parameter a base class object, a copy of which is to be searched. The constructor simply passes its parameter to the base class copy constructor. The remaining constructor is the copy constructor for the searchable vector class. Because the initialization of a searchable vector is the same as that of a simple vector, the searchable vector copy constructor simply passes its argument to the copy constructor of its base class. The member function findItem takes an item of type T as its argument and returns the position of the item within the array. If the item is not found in the array, a value of -1 is returned.